Alright friends, we're going to be making these cute sea turtles. So what we're going to do is start with the shell. And we want to draw this shell top curve first. You want to make sure you save room for the head when you're doing that. So don't have it too close to the edge. Also save room for the arms, so don't make it too wide. So I'm going to come in the middle of my paper and go up above that a little bit. And I'm going to do a curve that stretches across like this. Notice how I almost filled the whole sides of my paper up, but I still left a little room on each side. We're going to take our finger right in the middle and we're going to pull it down till we get about a third of the way, and we're going to do right near where our finger is a curve that goes in the opposite direction. This one's going to be a little shorter. You're now going to curve down and meet that part. And why we're doing this is because the bottom of the shell near the tail is always usually a little smaller. So if it came in too much, you can always erase and make that bottom curve just a little bit more bigger. Now what we're going to do for the head, we're going to do near the middle of that big curve a short vertical line, and then another one that's about the same size that comes out about 3 finger widths away from that last one. So see how I have my 3 fingers there. Okay, and now I'm going to go into a triangle on top of that. So I'm going to go at an angle, stop when I get to about the middle, and then come back down the other way. Then on the side you're going to draw some circles for eyes. Alright, and now we're going to do the arms. So the arms are going to be, and legs are going to be some curves. The arms are always a little longer than the legs. So we're going to come, see where our shell kind of turned and started to go downwards. That's where we're going to start to draw our arms. So we're going to have a curve that comes out like this. And it's going to keep going, but then once it gets towards the edge of the paper, it's going to start to curve down. And then it's going to curve around like this and curve back up and then go back into our shell. So again, on this side, we're going to curve right where it starts to turn on the shell. We're going to curve up, but once we get close to the edge of the paper, oops, I don't want to go over. I'm going to now follow the edge of that paper and then turn back around when I get it to the length I want and come back to the other side. We're going to do our legs now. So our legs are going to be a little shorter than my arms, so don't make them as long. On one side of the shell, you're going to have a curve that goes down like that. It's going to wrap around and curve up, back up to the other part of the shell. So a curve now that goes in this direction, curves around and comes back up. Okay. Alright, now we're going to be doing some squares, repeated squares in our turtles to create some texture. I'm going to start with the shell first, and those are going to be some bigger squares because they're going to look like the shapes you would see on the shell of the turtle. So you're going to do about 3 big squares coming down the center. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And if your shell's big, you can do a 4th, or if it's a little smaller, then just do 2. It doesn't have to be the exact same number. Now I'm going to do 3 smaller ones on each side of those. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, friends, and now we're going to do some smaller squares inside of the arms and the head of the turtle to mimic the texture inside a real turtle. So you're going to do just some squares that we later will have to color. So don't make them too small. And we're just going to go in and we are going to draw some of those squares. Alright friends, that's it for the drawing part. We have our texture, we have our turtle. We're going to be coloring these next time. Alright friends, we're going to be picking 1 crayon from your crayon box. You're going to use one. Let's choose one that is not yellow. Yellow's a little too light for what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold our crayon near the tip and we're going to try to color in our squares by pushing kind of hard, okay? So that we get a really, really dark value of our color, okay? So I'm going to go in, outline the squares first, and then fill them in. So this is why you didn't want to draw them too small. Okay, just do your best. You're gonna go in to all your little squares, hold it by the tip. We're pressing very hard, okay? Now, you have all this white part left over. So what we're gonna do after we pressed hard with that crayon, we're gonna color inside the rest of it, but we're gonna push really light, okay? So this time I'm pushing very lightly with my crayon. I'm outlining the shape like I normally would, and I'm building up with layers. And in art, when I layer and coloring, I'm going on top more than once to get a lighter color. Okay, so I'm going to do another one over here, and we're only using one crayon. I'm also not going into the big shell yet. We don't need to do the big shell. You're going to go in, press in your squares hard, nice pressure. Don't hold that crayon from the middle or it'll break on you. And then now we're going to take this and we're going to very lightly go around the edge of our shape. So when you're doing this, you don't want it to look messy. So you're going to keep going back and forth on top of your color, back and forth. Color it more than once, go back again. Alright, you're going to do that to all the legs and the arms.